Hey, what's up? So the Game Awards was actually pretty cool this year. One of the reasons I stopped watching it, one of multiple reasons I stopped watching it, is because there was a couple years where I was bored out of my mind watching it. The focus was on a bunch of games that I wasn't really interested in, a bunch of performances I wasn't interested in, and then other reasons that contributed to me just shutting it all off. But I happened to just be chilling last night. I didn't even know the Game Awards was coming out. Wasn't even looking at it or nothing. And then yesterday it was just part of the Steam page, right? And I was like, oh, but I don't think I even saw that until an hour before it started. Uh, I don't know how I didn't see it before. I don't know when they added it to the Steam page, right? I just thought it was weird. But anyways, I wasn't planning to watch it. And then I was loading up like a store page to look at something, and then I saw the Game Awards, and it was starting in like a minute, and I was like, all right. I almost just skipped it. I almost just was like, I don't care. I'm playing a game. But I was like, you know what? I'll check it out. I'll give it a look. And I'm glad I did. It was actually pretty cool. It was a good one. Almost everything shown was something I was interested in. That's why I wanted to make this, and I was planning to make a bunch of different videos. But I'm gonna just try to sum it all up and quickly go through what I'm excited for that was announced and shown at the Game Awards. This is not a video to talk about the awards themselves, just so you know. If you're here for that, that's not what this is about. I'm just here to talk about the games that looked interesting and then are coming out and stuff. So yeah, the awards thing is kind of weird too because a lot of the awards in the show were just like really quickly thrown out there. They're like, here are the nominees, da, 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 and this one won, and that's it. They didn't like you right. Like it was weird. They've done it before too, though. Yeah, they tend to focus on like the more there's a focus on bigger titles or whatever. Anyways, a couple of interesting things that I thought was funny was, well, funny in a weird way. Uh, Jeff Keighley first announced how his home burned down at the beginning of the year, and I was like, see, and he's already hosting the Game Awards. Like, that's a rich person recovery, man. That's a wealthy person recovery. Because I don't think I could ever come back from that, especially within the same year. His father passed. They had an empty seat for him. It was a neat little thing, little gesture. It was he. I think he handled it well for being an awkward, like, quick introduction to the show. But I couldn't help but laugh. It was weird. But I understand why it was done. Whatever. I was like, oh, he's probably vaccinated. Gonna say it, man. Gonna say it. Anyways, right? Poof. Somebody already disappeared. Probably. That's funny. No, all right. I'm getting into the games that I'm excited for. I was. The performances were pretty cool. Well, normally I like watching these shows. Another reason I'm not interested in watching these usually is because I don't care about the live performances. I don't care about seeing that stuff on stage. But it was cool, and as far as I could tell, it seemed like the show had been refined either from experience, having done the show multiple times now. Either that really contributed to why it was so much better this year, or they handed over the direction and whatever to somebody else that knew better what they were doing. I don't know which one it is. I don't know if they got like a new team to work on it and make it better, or if it's just having the experience behind them that helped them improve on it and just get a solid focus going on. They did mention there's a couple little shout outs to the Devil May Cry cartoon, which I happened to watch for free, and it was surprisingly good. Like I liked it. If I remember right, I didn't like the voice for Dante, but the story, the animation, everything was good, and I want to see season two. It was pretty cool. All right, so I'm gonna get into checking out the games. These are games that are upcoming. There are about half of these I was already following. Well, no, not even half of them. Yeah, there's a lot of new stuff shown at the Game Awards that I was like, whoa. So we're gonna check them out. This game is called For Loop, right? For Loop. Yeah, it just looked interesting, so I wanted it. It's one of the ones that I'm following now because they showed it. I like the creature types and stuff like that. So don't know a whole lot about it. Just thought it looked cool and wanted to share it as part of my thing here. Bradley the Badger was not a fan of the introduction to the game. You know, they sell off the status of the developers. I can't remember who it was. I think it was it Naughty Dog or so. It was a couple people like that are from big known things, right? But this is an indie game. You know, and also part of the narration is not really my thing. You know, it's that it seems like an intended audience for younger people, which is totally fine. Um, it looks good. This this Bradley the Badger looks great. Looks freaking great. Looks like a lot of fun. Looks cool. All right, No Law looked interesting. Just throwing it a fall. It's another Crafton. I don't know where Crafton came from. Now I think they've been around for a while, but I've only discovered them myself in the past year or so. Once that Sim game came out, that Sim City game, I'm forgetting the name of it right now. It looked really good though, visually and stuff, and I was like, damn, never really been into the Sim City game or the Sims game or anything. I was in a Sim City, but not the Sims. But this new game by Crafton looked really cool to me, and I still haven't picked it up. It's mostly because the price and early access. But anyway, so Crafton, I've seen ever since that game came out, and like I said, they've been around. But like now, it just seems to be getting bigger and bigger, I guess, because there's more games by Crafton, just Crafton. It's just it keeps coming. This is called No Law. Looks interesting. I'm checking it out. I'm following them. You know, just looks worth having a look at and stuff. This game, Stupid Never Dies. First off, the title is freaking hilarious and 100% true, right? That's just funny though. That's funny, man. That's a funny title. Stupid Never Dies. Now, when this first came on to the show, the Game Awards, they had like this music video between, I guess, the couple characters in the game, and it's like a duet song. And I didn't like hate it. I just wasn't into it. I was like, like some of the intros, like the Badger game too had an intro. I was like, oh, whatever. When they finally got to the game, I was like, oh, I want this. You know, right? Same thing happened here. They had the song. It seemed cool. I liked the artwork. The artwork is great. The voices were fine, you know, right? I just wasn't interested in this music thing, right? But then they got in the gameplay, and I was like, whoa. And of course, other people had said this too. Reminds me of Lollipop Chainsaw. And I'm not gonna say like Lollipop Chainsaw is like one of the best games ever made, because it's not. Oh my gosh, it's definitely not. But it was a very fun, entertaining game. And you know, just style wise, it's easy to compare this to Lollipop Chainsaw. I didn't realize I had the mouse over it. That's why it stopped moving the screens. All right, Decrepit looks pretty freaking cool. It currently has a request for playtest access is available on the Steam store page. You can request access to a playtest. I don't know when the playtest is. Yeah, no, I think I just followed this one the other day, before the Game Awards, I think. Maybe not. Anyways, there's probably news on when the playtest is. I'll click on this if it would load. Gets a little bit of lag there. No news, so I guess not yet. I was wondering if the news section might show like a date announcement for the playtest or anything. But so you can request access to the playtest right now. The playtest might not be for another few months or whatever. Don't know, but you can request it now. So it'll probably be soonish. Looks cool. Audio Mech looks freaking awesome. This is by the developer of Audio Surf. I think I tried it once. Not that I didn't like it. I think I played it like in PS Now or Xbox Game Pass or something. And I thought it was neat. I just didn't get into it. You know, I didn't play hardcore or anything. But this game looks really freaking cool. Audio Mech. I like the way it describes your music powers your weapons and it powers your enemies. I thought I saw a different. Yeah, I guess your music transformed is like the tagline for the game. Just seems cool. When I first saw it, it reminded me of Beat Hazard, which is also similar to the Audio Surf type game, but twin stick shooter style instead, right? But anyways, this looks really freaking cool, called Audio Mech. And then Pragmata, you know what's crazy? I was just looking this up on my own Discord yesterday, because I was looking up when the last time I shared this game was. And I was surprised to see that an old friend that I'm no longer friends with sadly. Electrolysis had shared this back in 2020. And I was thinking 2020, damn man, that was a weird time, 2020 to 2024. That was when I lost most of my friends. It started for me at the end of 2019 though, like around September-ish was when I went down some holes. But so I was surprised to see that the first, and I remembered, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. He shared that uh, 5 years ago. So we've been waiting for this game. It looks really good. And then I shared it again a few months ago when they had newer trailers and stuff. They currently, I was hyped for a second in the Game Awards show. They announced the demo, and then when the demo finally went live, because it wasn't live right away, the girl that announced the demo, and I went to the Steam page and it wasn't there. So a couple hours later, I think it was finally added on there. That happens sometimes in the shows, a little bit of delay, because they're announcing it and then they add it. But the demo is a sketchbook, so not actually a demo. I don't know. As soon as I saw it say sketchbook, I was like, never mind. I'm like, what is that? Am I just gonna go look at some pictures or something? Which is fine, but I wouldn't call that a demo. So I am curious. If you try it out, let me know. I'll probably just look at the forums and see what people are saying about it or something. But it reminds me of like character creators, right? Some games have put, like Saints Row Reboot did it. They had a character creator. You could go into the character creation thing. It wasn't really a demo though, right? I did like it though. I had actually created actually a few characters on that before that game came out, on that little demo, so-called demo, right? And then what else had that? Other games have had something similar, character creators, and they call them demos. It's not a freaking demo, but it is cool that you can have like a little peek at something, and whatever. So anyways, what was this? This Pragmata, right? This looks cool. It's a cool looking game. Solasta 2 I just wanted to share because it just looks really good. Kind of like Clair Obscura or Persona. The style in these games is incredible. It blows my mind. I'm very interested just because of the visual style. But I have not really. I haven't been into turn-based games for a long time. I do throw them on sometimes because I want to be in the mood to play it, but I'm not. The most recent one that I really enjoy a lot and impressed by was Marvel Midnight Suns. Combat seems a little on the simple side, of course, until you get further into it. So there's like an easy introduction, right? But then it'll get more difficult the further you get into it, and there's difficulty options and whatever. I was surprised at just generally at being a little more on the simple side in comparison to other games I was used to playing in the genre. Kind of makes sense too. Like everything is weird in the past decade or so. Things have been simplified, oversimplified. Things have gotten worse in a way. Like look at, like, for example, really quick. Look at Final Fantasy 16. It's just cool game, but like that is one of the most simplistic combat systems you could ever play. Not to trash on it, because there's nothing wrong with it. It's just weird, right? Like I wouldn't expect that from the 16th game in the series to just continue being like every other game that's on a mobile device now. It plays like Wuthering Waves. It plays like Genshin Impact. Like it plays like those games, and it's just like, okay. So that's just an example of things being oversimplified, and it's weird. Like especially when I'm playing a game that's this far into a series, like it makes more sense to me in the first one or two games made by a dev team. But when we're this far into a series, it's just like, what? Anyways, Solasta 2 looks really cool. I had taken a look at part 1, I think in the Xbox Game Pass, but it just not really in the mood for turn-based. But this looks so good, so I wanted to share it. I'm sure you've seen it, whatever, just that is a highlight for me though. Just even though it's not a genre I'm really into, like I said, I want to be into it. I'm just not, I gotta play more Midnight Suns though. That was pretty cool. I was digging it. The story was cool. I loved the visuals, and I liked the hub, your like little home hub thing that you go to in between missions and stuff. I thought that was pretty neat. All right. And these are Steam pages. We're about to get into some YouTube videos, so I'll have to adjust the window on the screen. Tomb Raider. Now, when I first saw these, I went and looked before I started this video too, because I was looking at there's 2 new Tomb Raider games coming out. Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis is a reimagining of the original game. Reimagining Lara Croft 1996 genre-defining game. Yeah, so it's a reimagining of the original. This is a reboot or remaster, right? A rebooted remaster of the original Tomb Raider, and looks incredible. Both of the new Tomb Raider games look incredible. And the other one is Tomb Raider Catalyst. I'm gonna get this on the screen. I'm not gonna play through the whole. I'm not playing, but I just figured I'd play it while I adjust the window. I don't even know where to get. It's so different from the Steam window. I'm just like, I don't want to have to mess with this too much. But oh, is it? Yeah, okay, up top too. It seems mostly all right. Interesting. I was expecting to have to like really super resize it. I think it's mostly because the widescreen. Anyways, so I was surprised to see that this game was not the reimagining of the original game, because while it looks wonderful, I love the artistic style here. Like, it's kind of weird because the recent Tomb Raider trilogy, the reboot, and Rise of the Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider were a little more on the realistic side, right, visually. But then in this one, Lara herself, while the game is more stylized, realistically-ish, you know, kind of, the characters look more on the cartoony side, which I found very interesting. And that was also why, and her outfit here, right? I was actually thinking it might have even been like, I was thinking this was a cinematic for a new top-down, like Guardian of the Light style game. And I loved those games. I forget the names for both of them. There was the top-down twin-stick-ish Tomb Raider games. I beat the first one, never beat the second one. I now want to go play those. That's funny. They're cool games. So that's what I was expecting because of the art style here. And if it wasn't going to be the twin stick type Tomb Raider game, I was expecting this to be the remaster of the original game because of the style, because of the art style. But no, this is the next brand new game in the series. She's pretty too, like but doesn't it look more cartoony to you? Like, it looks more cartoony to me, which I'm fine with. I actually prefer fantasy style and cartoony visuals. I prefer it. I can be impressed by realistic stuff and whatever, but I prefer a more stylized visual effects and stuff like that. But anyway, so I thought that was interesting because this is the one that I thought, based on the visual style, I thought was going to be the reboot of the original. But nope, Legacy Atlantis is the reboot or remaster. The words, man, it's funny because I remember, you know, I'm not going to get into that. Anyways, dude, Warlock Dungeons and Dragons, this looks freaking incredible. I didn't mute. I forgot about the song choice. They went with Tool. When I heard Tool at the Game Awards, the Tool was playing for the intro to this whole friggin' trailer, Warlock Dungeons and Dragons, and they had Tool, and I was like, what? Just the fact that they're even willing to put that in their trailer made me go like, okay, all right, let's see what else you got. That's not normal, man. I don't think I've ever heard a song by Tool in a video game before, man. Like, I was like, all right, give me more of that, kind of, whatever, cool. But this game looks incredible. I don't remember if they I think they showed gameplay, maybe not. Oh, I thought for sure they had showed gameplay. That's weird. This is a cinematic only, but I remember, I thought for sure I saw gameplay, man. I don't know. Maybe I didn't. I just thought I did. Anyways, all I know is I had to have seen gameplay. Is there no game? Now I gotta go look that up and see, like, how am I not seeing gameplay here? I hate IGN, by the way. Screw IGN. Anyways, Diablo IV introduced, this was funny, man. So the on stage, they went like pretty heavy on some satanic like stuff on stage, and I thought it's happening in everywhere. Country music is doing it's I can't help but think people are right, like that there's some kind of, I'll call it weirdness going on, right? Like I had seen and heard stuff when I was a kid about like Satan worshiping and satanic concerts and stuff like that, but this is happening in everything, and it's just weird. Well, yeah, country music is doing like it's happened a lot over the past few years. A lot of like weird, crazy on stage demonic stuff, and it's not like niche, right? Like it's not happening with like a group you would expect it to happen. It's happening with everybody. anyways, Diablo 4 makes sense, right? But I'll have a thing I'll tell you about too, because it's funny. I forgot about it. Anyways, this was introducing Mephisto, as well as Paladin or Crusader. I'm not sure if they're doing the Paladin or the Crusader version, right? Because to me they were kind of the same thing. Crusader was like a new version of the Paladin. So I'm guessing Paladin. I mean, Sword and Shield, but so is a Crusader, right? Anyway, so Mephisto, they got here. They're showing off Mephisto, and it's all cinematic. It's actually a pretty cool cinematic though. The intro on the Game Awards was pretty neat. It was funny because they had Mephisto on the stage talking to Jeff Keighley. That was just funny to me. I thought that was entertaining. But I don't know if this is an expansion or a game update. And my assumption is it's an expansion. That's my assumption, but I don't actually know. One of the things I was thinking was like I had forgotten. I was like, oh yeah, I remember before this game even came out, they had already announced 2 expansions, and that pissed me off as well. I was like, you announced 2 expansions, the game ain't even out yet. Why don't you just put it in the game then? Stupid, screw you. And a lot of people don't want to get that. They're like, oh yeah, we can't wait for the expansion. Like years before they come out. Like, come on, man. So you're already telling me that it's not a complete full. Oh yeah, I forgot. I didn't want to actually show all this cinematics. It's gross, man. It reminds me of. I'll get into it real quick before I go to the next one. The Divinity freaking trailer. I'm not gonna play it. It's really gross. This was one of the very first things they showed on the stage, and it was on the main stage, and I was like, this is just weird. Like I get, you know, this existing, right? But to have it presented on the main stage, no problem. You talk like dude being tortured, now he's probably evil. That's my guess, and I would hope, right? This dude that they tortured, probably an evil guy, evil king or something, right? You know. But what really got me was in the crowd, the kid on somebody on like a parent's shoulders or whatever, like cheering it on, big old smile on her face. And I was like, man, this is so wrong. This is just so wrong. Not as a game, not as a cinematic, just for the story and stuff like, but just being presented like a normal thing on a main event stage is very strange to me. Like this is something that, you know, I don't know. I come from a time when like this would be marked as mature audience, 17 plus. Things have changed for sure. You know, the age has gotten lower to who can see what kind of a thing, and of course it should be up to the parents. You know, you should be paying attention to what your kids are watching and stuff like that. You know, definitely be aware and talk with them about it. But anyways, this was crazy to me because I'm actually very interested in a new Divinity game. That's cool. But like this whole thing was just a torture scene. The whole damn thing is, and then the dude turns into like this weird demon thing. It gets really freaking crazy. It's just nuts. And I was like, this nothing. I don't have a problem with this existing. Having it on the main stage as like a presented thing, that's freaking nuts, man. That is crazy. I was also thinking, all right, you know, I know that crowd has to be all 18 plus. Has to be, right? Like, right, everybody there has to be 18 or older, because all the content throughout the show was mostly for an older audience, mostly. But then to see a couple of their presentations on stage, I was like, this is weird, man. This is freaking weird. Anyways, all right, we'll continue. Another thing I thought was cool, interesting was, I forgot I didn't mute all these. There's a free-to-play fighting game in the League of Legends universe, 2v2 fighting game. I'm my guess is you would, oh, you play at the same time. My assumption was you would swap between characters or whatever, similar to like, yeah, tag-ins, right? Like, yeah, these have happened before in Street Fighter and Tekken and stuff. Very tiny little trailer. What I thought was interesting about it, I haven't been into fighting games in a long time, but their announcement was for console only, and my guess is maybe there's a delay on the PC version. I wouldn't be surprised if there's just a delay and that it will come to PC. But yeah, for right now, it's on the new gen PS5, current gen PS5 and Xbox X, whatever, you know, free to play, League of Legends, universe. Looks neat. Looks cool, man. I haven't noticed a lot of new fighting games coming out lately. There were even oh, I forget what it's called. I haven't watched the cartoon. It's similar to The Boys or whatever. I forget what it's called. They've got a bunch of games coming out. They have a fighting game coming. I can't remember the damn name. Anyways, but there have been multiple fighting games coming back. I guess the genre is kind of popular-ish right now. I don't know. It just seems like that because I've noticed more and more fighting games kind of here and there. You know, not like massive amounts, but like more. There's just been more fighting games and stuff. And I remember not too long ago, a couple years or so or whatever, that the Riot Games were announcing that they're going to do all kinds of games, new genres and mediums and whatever, like their cartoons and Netflix, and that's what they announced a while back. So I'm not surprised to see more and more of their games actually coming out now, right? So fighting game with the League of Legends universe. Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic was teased. It's a cinematic only teaser trailer. Just shows off the character and then the lightsaber lighting up off screen, and it just lights up her face. Visually, the face looked amazing, and the cinematics looked really cool. Just sharing it to share it. Yeah, cinematic teaser only. And what I didn't know until earlier as I was getting these tabs ready together is that this is referred to and called the spiritual successor to Knights of the Old Republic. Did not know that when I saw the teaser last night. Another Star Wars game is Galactic Racer. Star Wars Galactic Racer. They described this as a runs-based racing game. Runs-based. So I didn't know that when I first saw this. And I'm not even sure what that means. Once I saw the description say runs-based, I was like, does that mean like you're gonna be racing deliveries? All right, are they actually making it a little more than a racing game, kind of like Crazy Taxi-ish or something? Like, it's just that threw me off a little bit, calling it a runs-based racing game, because otherwise you would just call it a racing game, right? So, and maybe it's just part of their lore, their story to it. It's runs-based, but it's really just a regular racing game, right? Like that could be. Anyway, so two new upcoming Star Wars games besides the other ones that we already knew about that I'm forgetting. Like there's the RTS that looks really good. Again, not really into turn-based games, but that RTS game looks freaking cool as heck. All right, what else we have? We have Saros. Was this by the dev House Marquee, I think. Yeah, Housemarque or House Marquee. I've heard it pronounced both ways, and it's been a while since I heard it pronounced like in voice. Housemarque and House Marquee. I've heard it pronounced both ways. House Marquee and Housemarque. Anyways, Returnal. What was the first game that got? Oh, Nex Machina was the game that really opened my eyes to the dev team, Nex Machina. And then they have others, Matterfall, I think, and then some others I'm forgetting. Anyway, so this is by the devs of Returnal. Looks pretty cool, called Saros. Out of Words looks neat, looks cute. I don't remember. Yeah, this looked cool. Platforming game with characters are mute. There's a story to it. It looks very interesting. Claymation looks pretty cool. And I can't remember. I think this might be a PS5 exclusive or launching as a PS5 yeah, it's just announced for PS5. Looks cool. And then lastly, Control 2. I'm not showing up the trailers here. I don't want to ramble on too much and have the trailers play out too long. I will quickly. I'll talk a little bit about Control 2 real quick, because I did record a video specifically about this when I originally thought I would make a bunch of smaller videos for each of these things that I wanted to talk about. But I don't want to do that because I don't have a lot to say on each of these things. I mostly just wanted to share it, what I'm excited for, and be like, hey, these look cool, Control 2, I found very interesting because we're swapping from the sister to the brother. Not super surprising or anything. The brother was a big part of the story in part one, not actually like really in the game, but a big part of the story. The reason you're there is for your brother, kind of, right? Yeah. And I thought the character was interesting. A lot of the audio recordings and the documents that we read got me to get to be much more interested in the brother as well. So I was really looking forward to a sequel, just for more story stuff, because the game is amazing. I love part one. I think it's a 10. Um, Anyways, what's interesting is not only are we swapping from Jessie, which I wasn't, I was hoping to play her again, you know, right? Not a big deal, but to the brother, switching from third-person shooter combat to full-on hack and slash melee combat. So I'm not specifically excited for that. Like, it looks really good. Well, it's gonna get into gameplay in a second here. It looks really good, but I was expecting to play another third-person shooter with supernatural abilities and stuff. I guess I could skip forward a little bit. Gameplay comes up soon. Yeah, because I got to finish this now. Anyways, yeah. So now we're switching into a hack and slash game and as a sequel, which is interesting. You know, it's weird to me. I don't hate it though, especially because it looks incredible. The story, the cinematics that they showed, the gameplay that they show looks absolutely incredible to me. That's why I don't mind so much. Otherwise, I'll be like, oh, come on, guys, you know, like, what the hell, man? First you change it to make it just completely different gameplay, and it looks bad, but I wouldn't expect that, because part one was a 10, man. Anyways, yeah, so that's it for now. There were other things. Oh, you know what? Here, actually, let me check my notes real quick. On the show as a whole, as a whole, because I forgot a couple things. They did go heavy on the celebrities, which bugs me. Whatever. I forgot they had the new Street Fighter movie. Oh, doesn't look great to me. I don't want to say that, but you know, I was thinking about it too as I was watching. I was like, it looks kind of cheesy, which makes sense. I was remembering. I was like, you know what? I watched a lot of the animes and a couple of the movies, the cartoon movies of Street Fighter, and they were all corny and cheesy, like all of them. And I never really thought about it because they're just parts of it. Parts of it are corny and cheesy, right? Not the entire thing, but it could be really corny and cheesy. And I never really thought of that until I watched this new trailer, because it's been a while since I've seen a Street Fighter movie or cartoon or anything. There's a new Street Fighter movie coming out, and my first thought was it looks as bad as the one with Jean-Claude Van Damme, which I didn't hate the movie, but I could admit it was bad, you know, like it was entertaining, it was still bad. You know, that's funny. So they had the whole cast of the Street Fighter movie come on to the show, and I forget what award they were doing, but what I was laughing at their joke that they did. One of the guy came up and he's like, because as part of their speech is this joke that they had going on. One dude's like, we don't have enough cast members up here, so we're gonna bring out the crew of Mortal Kombat. This guy, so I think it was two different guys. The dude was like, we're just kidding, they're not coming up here, they only care about the money, they don't care about you, we care about you and the money. I just thought it was funny. It was not a great joke, I just thought it was funny because there's like 20 of these people on the freaking stage, man, and I was laughing when they talked about bringing up I was like, are they really gonna do? I was gonna laugh even harder if they brought up the cast of Mortal Kombat, but no, that was an actual joke. I was waiting for it though. I was like, you can't be serious, that's ridiculous, you know. But anyways, that was a little entertaining thing. I did mention Devil May Cry got some love, right? Pretty cool cartoon. It's actually a pretty cool cartoon. If you're able to watch it, check it out. I'm not saying go pay for Netflix to watch it, but it's a cool cartoon. Wuthering Waves had some mentions here and there. They got their update and stuff. It looks cool. It reminds me, I forgot. I didn't even bring it up on my tab. I forgot because it wasn't. Damn, I had already been following this other game that's similar to Wuthering Waves. It's another new mobile port PC mobile game. It looks amazing. I can't remember the name of it, but it's another anime style game. Oh, it looks so good. I forgot. It's probably the only one out of the whole show that I didn't save that I would save, and I don't know why. Oh yeah, well, I did write a note about like I feel like the show is mostly for investors or something. It's just weird. Not bad, just just weird how some of it's done. Some of it's like it's a cool, like the presentation especially this year was really good. It was smooth, it was nice, it rolled. Like I was not bored at all really. There I didn't love everything, and I didn't want to sit through every performance, but I wasn't like bored out of my mind through the whole freaking thing, you know. So it went pretty good. They had, besides the Street Fighter cast, Mia Jovovich came on, and I wrote these down just for fun because I didn't. Man, hold on, let me get in. They had Lenny Kravitz. Lenny Kravitz being a villain in 007 First Light is so dumb to me. But they're not the only ones that do this. The Hollywood thing is a normal part of a lot of stuff. Even that game Rock City, is it called Rock City? Rock City, which I like. I thought it was cool. I'm gonna double check and make sure I Rock City. Crime Boss Rock City, heavy on the like celebrity stuff, trying to sell their game just based on celebrities, you know. And the game's cool. It wasn't perfect, it has issues, right? You know, but a neat game, you know. Like it's not horror, whatever. I don't want to get into that. But again, with the celebrity status, and I had recently seen with all the crossovers and everything, Fortnite made it popular. Crossovers have been a thing for a long time. They happen, but ever since Fortnite, it seems like everybody wants to do this crap, and it's gross. I don't like it. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of how much stuff has been implemented into Fortnite too. Like they have everything. I mean, Epic Games apparently owns the entire universe. So, but anyways, then I started seeing like Hitman was talking about Eminem and Hitman. Like, come on, man, for real, like for real. But the kids love it, you know. Whatever, man. And then yeah, so but here's what's funny to me about it. Okay, Lenny Kravitz. When was the last time you heard about Lenny Kravitz? Do you even know who that is? I would think the younger people might not know who that. Maybe they do, but like, when was the last time I could think of Lenny Kravitz was in the '90s, man. Which was most of the things I can remember, if not the '80s. But most of the things I always remember and think back to were the '90s. This was the last time I remember friggin' Lenny Kravitz. Maybe I'm a little off year-wise, but it's just so long ago. Now they're bringing back as this so-called celebrity. That's how like Hollywood and celebrity status works. And I remember seeing it a few years ago. I'm like, just old actors popping up again. Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mel Gibson. I forget who. So many actors from 30 years ago that were just major, that I love. I love these actors. I love the movies that they were in. The movies are great. And I'm watching, I'm like, they're all 80 and 90 and stuff, right? And they still look fine. Bruce Willis, right? You know. So I don't hate that they're still doing movies or whatever, right? It's just, it is a celebrity status that's being sold, not excellent acting and not an excellent movie. It's the celebrity status alone that is being sold, and that's what's gross about it, man. That's the gross part. And what I thought was funny is I put a note here because you see Mia Jovovich come up and Lenny Kravitz. I don't hate them, and I'm, you know, whatever. But I was thinking about it. I was like, watch for yourself, because I never thought of this before. Watch for yourself in 20 years from now. Your current favorite celebrities are still going to be the celebrities. 40 years from now, your current favorite celebrities are going to be the celebrities. Watch it. It's the same ones. That's crazy, man. It's crazy. I had written a note, one sec, about the onstage display and light show stuff was pretty cool. It was, and they've had it before. The idea I got from watching it was just that they had refined it. They learned from past experience, or like I said, they got a new team that knew better what they were doing. But overall, it was great. It was really cool. Even if I didn't want to sit there through the light show, through the performance and stuff like that, it was really damn well done. Like, it was freaking cool the way the screen was implemented into the stage. It was all very cool stuff. Another little note, this is just a funny little thing. Have you noticed lots more Asian themed games since Ghost of Tsushima? Makes sense. Something's popular, people want to get in on the popularity stuff, right? That is not an unusual thing. That's very normal. Happens all the time. And when I was younger, there was a period where there was just like lots of Asian themed stuff, you know. And I feel weird saying Asian themed because Asia could cover like a lot of a large variety of things, you know. So I'm not trying to be insulting to any specific cultures. Uh, Claire Obscure Expedition 33. I think they won almost every award they were nominated for. I think they won a lot, man, and that's cool. That game looks amazing. Again, I have not been into turn-based games like as a regular player for a long time, but that has been on my wish list since before it launched because I'm eventually planning to go play that game and give it a try and stuff, see how far I get because it looks incredible. And yes, I talked about this when it was announced, you know, before it came out. Back then, I had said like other people, you know, like it's got a Legends of Dragoon vibe to it. It has similarities and stuff, you know. So that was cool to see. But yeah, no, they won a lot of awards. And then a little thing that I thought was funny was Jeff Keighley was really excited to announce a new Mega Man game, and it just reminded me of Mighty Number Nine, which I thought was funny because I'm pretty sure if I remember right, Mighty Number Nine was by like the creator of Mega Man, right, or something like that. And it got crapped on. It got crapped on hard. Had trouble getting through Kickstarter. Everybody's really excited about it, but then I don't remember exactly what happened, but a lot of people just hated on him. I think mostly it was weird. All I remember was just a lot of hate, and it seemed like over blown out of proportion as always kind of a thing. But I just especially thought it was funny. It's like we finally get a new Mega Man. Like we had one. Like you know, that's all, man. Anyways, all right, and that's it. It was a long show. A lot of exciting looking games, man. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool. Yeah. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.